Hi, my name's Dominique and I'm doing Donald as my case study. So to start off, we're going to do the sit and reach test, which I've already laid out a 12-inch piece of tape on the ground. And we're going to use a measuring tape to lay across it at the 15-inch mark. So we're going to lay that down there. And we really want to make sure before we attempt this that our hamstrings are nice and warmed up. So you could do some dynamic stretching before we attempt this test. So we're going to come to a sit. We're going to put our heels over the 12-inch tape. And what we're going to do is hands are going to be directly on top of each other. We want to make sure that we don't have one reaching up further than the other. We're going to breathe in, and as we breathe out, we're going to hinge forward and reach as far as we can. And we're going to attempt this 3 times. So we're going to breathe in and out. So we're at 17 there. In, out. We're at 18, in, out, and we're at 18 again. So we would say that the average is about 18 for me, which should put me about the 60th percentile of my age group. So you can look at the chart and decide kind of based on your age where you fall in. The second thing we're going to do is the hip and waist ratio. So we need a flexible measuring tape, and where we're looking for on the body is right underneath the lower part of the rib cage on top of the hip bone here. There's this section that should be about the narrowest part of your body, near the belly button here. So we want to take the measuring tape and we want it to have a little bit of tension, but not too much tension where we're kind of squeezing the body, and not so loose that we're not going to get an accurate measurement. So just to the point of tension, so 27. And then we want to make sure also that the measuring tape's not twisted, that it's nice and flat. So for the hip, we want to make sure that we take it at the widest part of the, or middle part of the glutes, and come around, and there we're at 36. So we have the 27 divided by 36 is, about 0.7 something. So that is well within the norm. We want to be for women below 0.85 and for men below 0.95. So we'll move on to our exercises. So I'm going to do 3 exercises, and on a separate video I'm going to do the stretches. Okay. So Donald, thank you for joining me today. We're going to do the 3 exercises. The first exercise we're going to do is going to be a body weight squat. So for the body weight squat, we want the toes pointing forward, the feet are hip width distance apart. So that's about the middle of the thigh down to about the middle of shoelaces. So to start off this exercise, our head is forward and slightly down, and we're going to hinge at the hips. So pushing that posterior or your glutes back as if we're about to sit in a chair. And we're going to come down until we're, just to a point where it's comfortable and not painful. So making sure that the knees are nice and solid, they're not coming in, we're not arching our back, we're keeping our back neutral, neck is also in a neutral position. We don't want to be watching our toes here. So we're going to be working our calves, we should feel it in the quads, and at the top of the stretch, we should be squeezing those glutes to help engage that. Making sure that we're also keeping our core nice and strong so that we're supporting that lower back. Okay, so as we're coming up, we're breathing out. And as we're coming down, we're breathing in. And as far as speed, we want to keep this about 2 and 2. So we're coming down for 2, 1, 2, and up, 1, 2. So that's our body weight squat. I don't think we're quite here yet, Donald, so I would like to show you how we're going to be doing the bench or supported squat. So grab either a bench or chair, ensuring that whatever item we use, that it's not going to slip out behind us as we come down into the squat. So again, just make sure that your feet are hip width distance apart, and again, hinging at the hip, come down into the chair. Now, as we come out, you might have a tendency to just pop up and using more of the core rather than the leg muscles. But what we want to do is as we come up, we want to hinge forward so that our body weight's over our ankles and we're using our legs to come up. So again, making sure we're hinging back, come down, and we're using our hinge again to come up out of that seated position. So this is how we do our bench squat or a supported squat. And that's where I'd like you to start. Eventually we'll move on to the body weight and get to potentially get to regular weight. So this would be another option for you down the road, is you can either do 2 weights over the shoulders, down by the sides. We're gonna do 1 for today, and I'm just gonna hold it in front of my chest, and from here I'll do my squats. And that's how we do our weighted squat. Great, so next thing I'd like to move on to is our exercise number 2 is going to be a push-up. So with the push-ups, we're really targeting those pectorals, those anterior delts, as well as our tricep muscles. So we're gonna get down into our position to start our push-up, making sure that we're keeping our core very strong to support our lower back on this exercise. So stretching out, keeping strong. We don't want our bum up in the air. We don't want to be arching down like this and potentially hurting our lower back. Hands are underneath the shoulders, and we're going to come down. We're going to breathe in and then out. In and out. Making sure that that core is nice and strong throughout the movement. So Donald, I don't think we're quite here with the push-ups. I think what we should start with is the wall push-ups. So wall push-ups, we're about an arm's length away from the wall. Okay, we're gonna step towards the wall, making sure the hands again are under the shoulders. We don't want the hands up here, and we don't want them down here. We want them under the shoulders. Feet are hip-width distance apart. And we're gonna come down, breathing in and out. In, out. So again, just really ensuring that we're keeping that core tight to help support our body throughout the movement. So once we've done the wall squat, we can potentially move on to a kneeling, or not squat, push-up. We can move on to a kneeling push-up. So we could use a mat. We definitely want to have something under the knees, because this can be really tough on those knee joints. So we have a mat. We can even use a towel. I'll lay down here. And what we'll do is we'll stretch our body out nice and long. Body's nice and long, hands under the shoulders, and coming down here into our push-up. Again, really making sure that that core is nice and tight. We're squeezing those glutes to support our back. And that would be our next step after the wall push-ups. Now we could also do an incline push-up. So incline push-up, we would use our chair or our bench. Okay, and here again, same thing, stretch that body out. Keep that core nice and tight and strong, and coming down into the push-up. Breathing through the movement. So after that, then we could potentially progress to a full push-up. Great. So next exercise number 3 that I'd like to work on is a Russian twist. So Russian twist, we're really going to be focusing on those obliques. We really want to make sure that a lot of the muscles we're focusing on are in the core area. Because of your lower back pain, we really want to strengthen all the muscles in the core to help get rid of some of that back pain. So Russian twist, first we're going to start with a body weight Russian twist. So we're going to sit nice and tall on the floor, feet are planted, back is nice and tall, neck is long, shoulders are down and back. Okay, we're going to lift up the legs. Legs should be nice and strong, and they should not be moving throughout the movement. The only thing that should be moving is our upper torso, as well as our head will be following the movement. So legs up, and we're going to twist. We're breathing through the movement, and we're not holding our breath. Okay? Now, Donald, I don't think we're quite here yet. Where I would like you to start is we're going to have our feet planted on the ground. Again, making sure our torso is nice and long, long neck, shoulders down and back, lean back. Again, engaging that core to help support the movement, and we're going to twist here. So this is where I want you to start, really ensuring we're not holding that breath. We're breathing in and out, nice and fluid throughout the movement. Now, where we can progress from here is we can do a weighted Russian twist with our feet planted on the ground. So this could be our next step, would be twisting with that weight. Again, head is following, we're twisting, keeping those shoulders down and that back nice and long, okay? We definitely don't want the head staying here and only twisting at the body. We want to make sure that we are full on moving with the movement and that we're not shifting our legs. So the last option would be lifting our legs up. So a full Russian twist would be the last option. So we would move with the weight in our upper body, and our legs should not be moving. They should be stationary throughout the movement. And just ensuring that we're breathing through the movement. If you experience any back pain at all, then I would drop the weight and we would just continue with the body weight Russian twist. So that's the exercises I had planned. So next we're going to move on to stretches.